Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Welcome back to another episode of the SEO.co podcast. Today we're continuing the series Link Building for SEO, and we're going to start off by asking the question, what makes content shareable? Now let's take a look at some of the elements of shareability you'll need to target to maximize the potential reach of your piece. First, accessibility. Your first goal should be making sure your piece is accessible. If it's hard to get to, hard to read, impossible to play, or otherwise invisible, it's not going to get shared. Make your piece prominent on your site as the first line of attack, interlinking it with other pieces of your site and making sure it's featured prominently on your homepage. If it's something you want to promote, it should be impossible to miss. Next, you'll want to check on your web development fundamentals, making sure your content loads on mobile devices and all web browsers. You can use sites like Mobile Test Me and BrowserLink to help you out here. How quickly is your page loading? How well is your visual content displaying? Is your text easy to read? Beyond that, you'll need to make your piece visible using an initial boost, which I'll get to in the next section. Next, skimmability. I get it. You don't like the idea of people skimming your piece. You spent a lot of time doing the research, outlining, writing, revising, and you've made sure that every sentence of your work is valuable. That doesn't change the fact that some people are going to want to skim it. Some people are just skimmers, and nothing's going to change that. If they skim it and get some value out of it, they'll be likely to share it with their friends and followers who might read it in full. If they skim it and gain nothing, they'll click away, never to return. Accordingly, it's in your best interest to make your content as skimmable as possible. Make your main points clear in the introduction and conclusion of your work, including as many bulleted and numbered lists as possible along the way. Separate your work into clear, prominent sections with subheaders and visual navigation tools to help you guide your readers' eyes to the most important parts. Will these people get the full value of your piece this way? No, but it'll help your link building efforts because you'll get more shares and engagement from skimmers. Next, emotional resonance. People are far more likely to share content that sparks some level of emotional resonance with them. What this emotional connection is precisely is up to you. It could be positive, it could be negative. It could be present or past focused. The only requirement is that it's a strong one. For example, you could use chilling statistics to illustrate a social problem that's bigger than most people imagined it to be, like institutional racism. Or you could go the opposite route and try to evoke a response of humor and levity, like with Old Spice's The Man You Could Smell Like video. Emotional resonance is tough to pin down, so in order to be effective, you'll have to dig deep into some market research and find out what really makes your users tick. You may even have to try some experiments and A/B tests to get it right. Next, utility. In addition to being practical, your piece should also offer a degree of utility or a degree of relevance in your target readers' lives. Think of this as a way of aligning your content topic with the current environments and lifestyles of your users. For example, let's say your target demographics are in college and it's April. At this time, most students are getting ready for final exams, so you can create and promote a piece that has some practical value for the scenario, such as tips on how to do better to retain information or how to study more effectively. If a person reads a piece of content and is helped, even in a small way, he or she will likely share it with their peers. Emotional resonance. This is a simple tenet of shareability, but it's one that you can't afford to ignore. People are only going to share your content if you make it easy for them to share it. Honestly, if the process takes longer than a single click, your users aren't going to take action. Your first job is making sure your social media share icons are present and prominent on each page of content. If it's published on your blog post, these should already be here. Beyond that, go out of your way to include social share icons in any way you present your piece. For example, you'll need to include these in your email newsletters, in your press releases, and you could even ask your followers to share your work directly on social media. It has to be easy, and it has to be obvious. And that's all we have for this episode. Thanks for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. Next time, we're going to dive into some more tips on link building for SEO. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.